after so starting so winning against Akesi na on has ball draw no or has of folk one crying or ha kotoko babanyara this time Medium so okay Ashanti Gold grass room no ha no yes and indeed sir teams Akesi na brekum Chelsea and no mo ba 10 wins and when you are playing a league let's say one more team standard top 5 top 6 no now team share more it means say the likelihood say yes I say
you come on kasa
yeah the prepare how much
yeah makesi wo what want so
now we can always can have talk osimama
oh so make asem wo ache
kotoko
Ghana Nigeria boy as possible wa she go
but now what
she movement no striker there me striker only ball boy
so
of course nya hodin dey say place be hodin be but your movement of the ball
yes
your movement when you have the ball
yes
and I know any control
within a game no or ball totals and they require assist
me na stadium boy am
that guy it would have been a stolen verdict say Koba say Salah
stolen verdict say Salah African player of the year na
yes
me na nyem kav de nyem nyi bi de
we dey na
Abotrika betra has
Lome was go for Brea ya fama no
nye de omunye bi de all right ye ni komo na unim say Kudus Mohammed
yes
ni celebration
he's on form
zino ajibe bia
ya okotra se na
ajibe bia
ta
esi otiwa
no na mbeze munze dia asiche ne say
hwinim endo no aka hwinim oya ko gina ho mekike hwinim
agwa de na dwele ya adwuma
go share
de na wa brenti na
o foti
otra say you celebrate no
gina ho me
but he's on form super form
abi ma share Kudus ne now famous celebration
yes he's on super form Bayern Munich Argentina player with Manchester United and Arsenal momo hu no normal pray because I go for bit say Anthony 100 and something now go for Kudus almost 70
so bia ne diope
oh seriously my sometimes because it
for me even the bigger question celebration in here celebration
about the brava or
general because our talent we see them say end of man 2 assists
yes
but first one pa
who's all about West Ham no say better than so command position because of Bowen and then Paqueta
oh nim so command Kudus
yes
oh there be over command no
because so
no can na kasa
kasa but on the ground they
now so bomu a we man na bench
no be
o to man ntra
now we coach no kura supporters na be power you
so ba first now second half nkwa no be na 140
yes I know remind me those days of Alessiako echo Premier League nim at least
macho derby
oh
derby
aden
macho
I
go say to support to just man say
but
he
was scoring at the point do many tone
I say Ghana plays the Copa League o man who so crying bi no
okay
never did back
wanya de
obeka say bia Tony Yeboah
yes Tony Yeboah yes
obeka bi sa dia na me no ya adwene
Tony de
e bia Jan the first season he say double forget
Jan so na ni papa na check
and then be o share ni
check ni there what there but celebration effect I mean no mo join your Facebook o me hu de ye ka no
bra Facebook no be here
brand let you almost see show o manim but a nice picture I mean said you are na photographers no mutimi taking from that angle effect she said you almost show o manim and indeed no crest o home I wish I said you see na o home because we said no country no abre
anyway
there's no problem so home
so Cairo Mario
oh yeah the kind of
Branton even now
yes
masa ball
but na odin se munu so obo mu dodo
oh so mo munu ball no bob chire so no ya masam kai di
Romario na at a point to the coach say baby otena ho no person otena na o mti play mu
onye no nkwa no wayo ni coach ne boss o shegu a o kwa che ni coach say ope akonya ko Brazil and was ye bu ma so yi den ko abi oh okay o she 2 goals o de shegu ma o shegu ma mo first half na papa 2 goals o say plenty airport train to be quite a much go. Yes, if you want
Jose Mourinho so Michael so here in Derby. I said Michael say Obama holiday yeah. Was you to go match you Michael. Brother for the manager the friend you. Timo Mario.
Abi a man enter so I'm say Abia slow.
Wakwala number.
Abia Collins aba. Oh Abia slow. I'm going to say, Commodity,
yeah.
Go ahead, this will be get up Melig in some more.
Of course.
Now, same your boxes, you're the turn away.
Oh, we're not dear.
And I say, you're brilliant to do.
And some be a priority one.
Oh, no. Say, Bruno,
baby, Ghana Sports Authority, any sports ministry, no, any channel. Among for boxing county,
the way to cry, no, yeah,
amateur.
For who professional boxing
and
baby na wo so
I know but sometimes
motivation the individual sports the motivation so could you ring mama ya boss the boy the pay also to motivate you
game boy ana
debi weekend match boxing
and na matiwase
oh monsa
matiwase
1 minute 23 seconds na unipa ko
and I mean who say no so no omo dedication to omo training or form
skill, no, say skill nation in here.
Samum.
It's a skill, no skill set, no.
Say, I know your one person who
near Deno.
Because the days of Kofi Jantua, Obinum to say Azuma Nelson, no one's a young personal training is PO. But I had to say sporting athletes, no.
Send not Agbiku.
Or many time.
Yabundu.
What's the pictures? And said, your name is Ivana. What can I say? Adding.
What a coffee from Kramaye.
A bay and Kakra Krabi.
Oh, Charlie, and you don't come with your list of guys.
Yes, yes. Now, say, you know, Ankaza, no, Nankaza, Yabona Phoebe.
On the menu. But if you didn't come on, if you didn't
now, baby, so bad. Who's the FIFA Club World Cup? No,
yeah,
I call US. It's an opportunity for next year.
Sir. America,
June, July, American here, Bono. It is here. And I say, no, so there's almost here in a far continent be and here be crying your club, BB or her, at me and your Kobia. We are Cotocone has a Drew baby no
the expanded FIFA Club World Cup.
Yes,
okay, the expanded edition. 32 teams.
32 teams.
Okay. I remember that Tana, Yemfa, I'm running 7 bread. Now, I joined you live on Facebook on Happy 98.9 FM. In Commodity, baby, what you would do and a pay. Yet, now, Yantuazo. This special one at Trassi or the Monism, every young way.
Yeah, masom na fe me ramu ewo amanane nkofo akroso ensem ahoro aya boa no ewo ho ne na ye jamu atimi ede amao ententem so yamomode na fe yemramu ewo Liverpool ene Manchester United matcha etimi ba na wi obi antimi anto atrana eno na coaches ni mienu etimi ede tu ensem pi eti kind tudwa na mamenko jegen club ho papa no kasai wose omobo mode konkode pa na niji sem se osua niam pi ene positives pi efi omo match nim eno edanche a wose no mo ye unlucky e was game no sense se kan se ball control ni ade possessions na afa so no shooting ahoro ni nyina no wo mo na eye ni nyina mo no omo antimi anya bibia fi nemum office omo ko enkoden pa.
Let me say, besides the result, there's a lot of positive about this game. It's just, you could say the Dicers the scoring part is obviously was not there today. We one or two more a bit unlucky in other moments, not calm enough, a bit too much in a rush. But the start of the game was the best we had this season. The counter pressing was the best we had this season. The intensity was outstanding, and the amount of finishes outstanding. But when you have this amount of finishes, you should have a few more on target point, which was obviously not great. If he would have scored it whenever, would have changed everything because they were obviously not to lose somehow. They wanted the result. And they fought hard for it. Credit to them. So we just had to keep going and tried pretty much everything. Changed system, more fresh players, and everything could have worked out. Made just this one better decision.
The opposite number otimi ekokoje draw eno eboa no so beka last season or just 7 honum to this season just come here say we redeeming the image o right from Eric Ten Hag and so den sam to dwa na or react to draw now omotimi enyaye no.
He did very well, as the whole team, in the partnership with Johnny Evans, and both leading the team from the back. I think also Andre Onana played a big part in it. But yeah, I can mention all the players because it was really a team, very disciplined. And so if we should have taken more often after ball, we can 3-4 passes in, where we are capable of, and then we could have even hurt the opponent more. But all over in the end, you have to conclude we had the best chances from open play by Rasmus Holland and Garnacho.
Eno eren sama otimi de 2 dwa na Kobe Mainoo Abranti a wogina mfifini. This is his 4th match awatimi abo for the season Premier League nim na eno wachem che say Abranti ni gina mu no modema o boy na so na ni ye pa esan say just you see born che say wanyini ball ni memfa ho ne mfie na Kobe Mainoo ensama Eric Ten Hag ede 2 dwa enso enie.
When you are good enough, you are old enough, and he proves that. When he gets used more often to those games, we will even get more joy from it, because then with his scanning and his speed of action, he can catch such passes, 3-4 passes in, and catch switches in, and then he's the player who can really hurt opponents.
Eno ere nsama otimi ere 2 dwa afi ma min ransom from na mendane mani enko piemu Spain. Carlo Ancelotti ere atudwa say wagidi ye pass crisis asini team no chiro ni nyina ne say David Alaba after 4-1 victory against the Yellow Submarines no Abrantia no etimi epiki injury Olympic off na Olympic off no na yade ai haye pa Eda Militao enyade season obetia to aso David Alaba ntimi ento aso enti say Orlando aye chomani no Abrantia no na ba be gire na fe watimi aboa ama Real Madrid difference no we na Carlo Ancelotti wode atudwa say yen kanche wi asesa ampa January or admit say kwan bi aso so pe defender bi na watimi de be chance ansa na watimi aboa akona nim Carnation so say there woye 5 to 6 points clear our table no so against the enemy and answer the rival your friend Barcelona na Mikel Arteta enso edi konem na ene papa ne chemu chese se wo ne Brighton po na se wutimi enya ne den etimi wuam sa na enya asebketwa edepa na Mikel Arteta na ankasa so no woje yellow card after say Mitoma tackle bia ode ko Abrantia your friend Bukayo Saka so ano ntiase ne antes na otai and this is the 4th timer papa no edge card in the game. Referee Robertson after say Oma Mitoma card na no come on card o sinyo na abekire me ekwan a memfa so a menye adwuma no na ni nyina mo no papa no edi tudwa Mikel Arteta chebu chese ne mrantie no omo pon modern said you no expect so munya no se wini against Brighton enye abrewa bayira wo jo krasa keke.
Outstanding, incredible from the start to the end. Big compliment to the team, to the players against our top side. I think we had an incredible performance and we fully deserve to win the game, I think. And I have to praise them because I know how difficult it is and what Brighton does to teams. And we didn't allow that to happen, so I'm super happy.
Or say he's super happy. You move uncle FIFA as well. Now FIFA and then officially already about 32 FIFA extended version Club World Cup no. Ebet me up so mo kwa chichi tonto mo kwa jaya and officially Gianni Infantino team betu ja say June 15 to July 13 2024 no 2025 no kwa bia so no de omo aye ne say World Cup no ebebaso ewo US na sana no ebebaso no Club World Cup no so no ebetwa so 2025 ewo onom na eno ensama etimi epa na Jude Bellingham unim sa Brantia no obepie mu ewo Real Madrid nyade awodi agrokra 20 matches 17 goals and now for involvement assist awode eka ho amani team aye friend Real Madrid no wanya mako enson the account to 25 goals involvement Brantia nyade awodi di agro na wo sha eno against the Yellow Submarines bi area no wan fa nya kwadjokra wonu na di kai opin floodgate no ewo ehona face so Brantia Rodrigo Goes Brahim Diaz na fem Luka Modric etimi de to aso a eniama ewie pay na Brantia ni wie no chem chese part of the game na no ofi Dortmund eba be pie no na wagitum ye pass kwan bi aso no obenya side fitness so na onimo bi te se Carlo Ancelotti a wo boa man kwala ball no akosoro pie eti no hope se kwan bi aso no obawa with papa no na tire kwan bi aso no beti room Thomas Muller so kasa se na ye pa esanse after some winning against Manchester United league not ready no matimi akwaje mako enum ewo Eintracht Frankfurt na enya asebketwa na oba sa match ni mo mutimi ewini 3 goals to 0 against Stuttgart na ono na ni achipa wasi ɔbɔ ne mmeranteɛ no aba so ɛna afei so the team ne coaches na adwuma a wɔyɛɛ na Jose Mourinho asa yɛ biam wobɛkae a ne manya match ɛyɛ Chelsea match bi mu papa yi atumi ayi no wɔde ne ba mu a 10 minutes na oyi ne firi mu asa asi biam Renato Sanchez aberanteɛ no ofiri Paris Saint-Germain esi na kan atumi de ma team a yɛfrɛ no Roma say Empono or Sheso Benya permanent deal honor said the sequentia Ebaniches Roma from penny for say and radio see and cratch say and Yadi obetimi atwas where Dijuma and likely some message returning a branch at the park to Paris Saint-Germain now Jose Mourinho didn't pam or didn't pam 18 minutes per penno say you film is also official from a normal that 2-0 Nadia Brantiano etimia home bibia we no patch so the course lady or promoter national obetia case say a Brantiano permanent na ekɔ de na nani nye ho etina so ye ho bibi na ɔhwɛ sɛ empo no abrantie no betimi afrim na afɛ game no etimi akɔso Arsenal winning 2-0 against Brighton, of course Liverpool and Manchester United and so etimi kwatipakɔ mienu bia etimi amfa bo Anthony Yonko atemu a West Ham echi Wolves sansa brantie aye friend Mohamed Kudus na nya asɛm keto first second nyina no ɔbobɔ papa na ɛno ɛkɔ wo hwɛ sɛ de ɔmo table no ɛne atwere no esi sisi amena wo kasa dia any Arsenal Eddie 39 points after 17 game Liverpool just be no one 38 points after 17 game Aston Villa after 17 game also be 38 points now for Manchester City also and 34 points and Tottenham Hotspur also 33 points obo match and as was saying na niema ACTL Luton also Marco 2 watch 9 points no Burnley also Dunkron 8 points no and after Sheffield United so etoso mako aduono na chese eniema nkoye kra ewo ehonoma eno eye de etimi epie na mami wrom Bundesliga so kakra na wo hwese de 1 points na ACT a sa pepepe na AC eko na midin samnisi na fe watimi awram ewo ehonoma eno ene amanane nsam a etimi ede bae
oi se sha wa me da sepa name say power no was so taking level taking level level ketra
level need a normal level
say about say what did you know
oh yeah breakfast my friend Yagro
kakrato you for able to the monty
of course power no power is back yes
all right you share
Liverpool
in the United game.
Yes, of course.
Number 4 say slaughterhouse.
And
you could try United here.
And you'll be arguing.
And so and right.
United
chess say born ombetimi abobi pa.
Of course.
Why never I know say Liverpool for fee say it feels like a defeat for them.
Yes.
Especially when on that top of the table before this weekend. Now Arsenal bo now some few hours before we winning. Now we especially also be winning now still at top now went to me for United it's been a season of inconsistency but this will feel like a victory for them because nobody feels say umbelusu how do you stand? Should United be celebrating this draw?
And you guys almost celebrate because the biggest rival of our Premiership Manchester United and then home man so pa Liverpool say I say Korogoni has why and found a game no said you sit here. Say a year draw back compare, especially there on the day but Manchester United on that day showed a class. I almost show you the fact say they were resilient at the back because I could count first half 12-13 corner kicks, which Ebinsi or Liverpool abakosemu in 12 solid good years. No beyond team on teams any team beyond say even Brighton say Sheffield say wine. Now and then the first half with team 13 corner kicks. So it was telling you say the dominance of Liverpool and I said no monster at the Manchester United so completely. But adia Eric Ten Hag and now the fact say Omar Kobe Mainu and Amrabat. Before the game, I say the Mihiane Sanko for me. Why? Because Amrabat made hard tackles. No, now you expect say Kobe Mainu no ebe for most of the balls ebe cuttings. Now what me at tiki area transition a typical type baby o ma gene to pass no. So what share if free Amrabat straight or call for tackle now when no then ball no ebe 50-50 ma Kobe Mainu o take your center 1-2 ano ebe bia. Abrantia Genacho, no locate his pass, no, which was telling you exactly what was said. Given the chance on the day, you need a hard tackler. Game. Say, Bobola. Games which is Liverpool. You need a hard tackler who can do the bully, then combat the balls. Chubby, now Yibo ni be free. That was Enra Adiana Mihuno, Abrantia Amrabaton. And in doing so, Adiaba could be a Messiah who ye, game, Manchester, and Kokra from you know Mobohon. Verani, and then here Evans needs speed P. But Enra saw here, no, composed. To the extent they do, we no check, could be made to say, position yourself here. Sad time now, man, I was trying to see, okay, first now come more. But on any case, I mean, who said Brandon was revolving around the center, or trust center, Caribbean, then no, I'm a long pass, and now with Chabono, Eddie Fro, and that was happening. Look, sure, on the day, none of no you super. I don't know, say be a hono na sala, na all pretty from a hono, and na M1, but now look sure, cobbles, and so on. Na as a from soccer crowd. Then on the other hand, Liverpool enya idea and then a bury Manchester United. Just like it happened last year. But once again, you more goalkeeper Onana or your mistakes. But Enra said you know see a reflecting you balls. Said you know see a calm. At a point, pressure on Manchester, especially first half. No, what he did, they say, "Bo Biano person money pass." Just to shove the pressure from the defense. First half, the first 20 minutes, no, most of the balls in not person. Even free kick, goal kick, no, or the moment the tour now object no and pass it. Or more bad, then he's trying to pull the ball inside, and that was a perfect way. Everything here. Now I was wondering, say, if this was the mindset, and if this was the way, on Timmy Shanobe defend here, Argentina Debiano, he wants to go for kill. Rather than say
the difficulty is that when you live up a budget to say limitations near.
Yes.
Until we call with an underdog mindset.
Say.
But when Crystal Palace Koboa, who United don't even go to the game with an underdog mindset.
But you see,
you have to dominate the game like a big boy.
But Obinso to say Aston Villa this season has also proven that given the chance on the day, they can utilize every chance on Benyabia.
Because Unai any materials available to him.
Yes.
On the strength of the team.
Yes.
I know a very good coach. It would inquire about my day.
And you coach, no, you good.
Casa. Casa.
What a very good.
I told you, because you are close of Assassin Radio. Editor of Assassin Radio, I'll be joining. We not the Kuru. From Saturday, who said, Martin and Kuya Sandy Pa, I mean, you are true. My friend got home.
I know for you.
Richmond, I United fan. I am Saturday, no. Say, let us be any Sunday, the eye, say, then one of my visitors, or United fan, which to the 9,000. Actually, a very composed, compact performance yesterday against Liverpool. Yeah. But one problem with this United team, they say, when you least expect them, they pop up, they show up. Yeah. Why don't we have this consistent performance from them week in, week out?
First of all, good morning to you. Look, let me disabuse some minds first. Martin, some new or social media rate on Yamada. Manchester United is the biggest football club in the world.
I disagree.
Most valuable or biggest?
It's the biggest football club.
I disagree. I think Madrid is the biggest.
Fair enough. In the UK more so.
UK they are the biggest.
So Exeter Obiri Kasano Obey. There was only one team that wanted to win.
Yeah.
Obiso say United will be happy with the draw. They will feel proud.
Debbie.
The fact that United have gone through a period of fallow does not change the standards at the club. Sure. And what represents value, what represents success at Manchester United. Yeah. That is why today, when we watch United, on Manchester United, you see, those comments, that line of thinking, is born out of an appreciation of the true standards of the club. And see, say, what about 4 matches? Even watch another performance, because the Manchester United, watch it in the years.
And okay, put it in poor context, no. Share the Brighton.
Yeah.
The poor results are matching it out. But who's talking about them?
Homophobia.
And who is calling the coach out? Obi Phobia. But let United or an Arsenal or a Chelsea go to the same patch, hell will break loose.
So when people say that United will not be proud of that performance. What they did at Anfield is not something they'll be looking to replicate. I'm telling you. If there are maybe in terms of certain principles, the solidity, yes. But United would pursue solidity in a different form. They would not want to go and sit that deep against Crystal Palace, against City, against Chelsea, or against any other team. This was play for the result, get it, and stop the rot. Wasa. But this Van Dijk and the commentary, you play for a club that, as Roy Keane said, has won Premier League trophy in 30 years. You probably need to show a little more humility.
But
because look, there was a period.
Selective amnesia, for instance.
No.
When it comes to Champions League, they also won it, just like you've won it in the last 30 years.
But in the context of the Premier League, United had
yeah.
And to Benya drawn after Mekase Asem na Bantiana born na Van Dijk, he was in the UEFA Champions League final in 2019. After Liverpool scored, Spurs were the only team that wanted to win that game. They shut up shop from minute 8 or so when the goal came. We now continue, and they decided to defend. I think that sometimes players need to be a bit humble, especially for people like Van Dijk. You know the funny thing about this so-called successful Liverpool era? In the 6 years that they have been successful, Manchester United have finished above them on 3 occasions in the Premier League. So there are levels. You know what I mean? There are levels to this thing. United, don't know, or Kasembi or Sekenita Kradide, or Kukesi, or Bambara. That is the 11 wise ones. That's what. Or Kukesi, one standard. So when it drops, everyone gets uncomfortable, including even their rivals. So even in the season that, this is it. And I deliberately telling you this to put matters into context for you. That in their so-called 6-year period, you would presume if that is the era of success, they probably will have 2 or 3 Premier League titles to
But they've only one.
So let's calm down. Yeah, things are bad for Manchester United.
That comment, I know how rattle you guys are.
Because it is.
But look at it from look at it from this coming from a Liverpool player.
You know the funny thing between in Liverpool's follow period, Manchester United were beating them back to back to back. Go into history. How often did you hear a United player speak in a manner that was derogatory to Liverpool? You won't get it. Because even in the midst of all of that animosity, and you maybe on Sasa, the respect is always there. So it is like Ebeso Radio now today, Hearts player be or Casemiro Kotoko Nimtia, another Kotoko derby. Show that animosity, show that disdain on the pitch. But even with that, you play within the confines of the regulations.
Why it is dangerous is that you never know. Maybe in a year or 2, you find yourself on the other side of the road.
It's like Ten Hag Ninsamokokade, RS end.
And they'll be able to do against him.
You see, beyond the fact that it can be used against you, it's something you just don't do. Because the supporters when a bad concern that goes against sportsmanship. Because look, the era that you are saying is going to end was someone's work, was someone's thinking. Obits na form, no Osheshe, Jumabi, no the coach na park, no the boy. Over time it brought them success. So I want to mean some baby could Munjaon over pin. Or in some year, maybe it's your boys na Becca, but on those platforms. So that for me is the only thing that I've got to say is that result was a massive indictment on Liverpool and the performance in itself. And if you follow me on Twitter, there was something I kept saying from the moment the game started that if Liverpool are able to slow this game down, and think, Manchester United.
I thought they were forcing the issue.
And people often talk about the mystique of Anfield and how they can create that environment and give energy. Yesterday, Anfield played against Liverpool. Because another game, it did not need that intensity. Liverpool and Manchester United, no them games now, or the bogey wasn't Derby. All Liverpool needed was to just calm it down, slow the game down, and then watch Manchester United capitulate. Look, before another match, Adena was the individual mistakes Manchester United were going to make. Not so much about Liverpool's capacity to break down the blocks. It is a fair. Of all Liverpool had 12 corner kicks in the opening. The first 5 minutes, Manchester United did not get out of their half. They did not get out.
That's a boxing now. Be a corner.
And when they did, it was a long ball at Onana Oboisim. So clearly, United did not have the profile of players to sustain possession. In that situation, what you need is just a bit of calmness and inventiveness. But Dumbo now, 2-3 passes, now I got to cross, 2-3 passes, now I got to unfa. Because when you play that way, all Erik ten Hag needed to do was to tell his holding midfielders, stay in your zones and track your runners. 9.
And considering the fact, say, we 2 centre backs now, these are players who are very tall, who are also very good in the air.
Oh.
And doing those crosses, it wasn't easy, say.
No, it is a
any of them.
Liverpool, of all the shots that they had on goal, there was not a single great save Onana had to make. All of the saves were routine. He didn't have to stretch. The
only one which was going to be probably dangerous was that Arnold shot.
But even that was off target. So it was one of those games, and for me, it was a game that characterizes the current iteration of Liverpool. They are adrenaline junkies who are not capable of thinking or any kind of inventing. Because I end up matching. So I asked now United board and Bona, or budget 3 minimum. Because all Arteta would have done was that when you get to zone 14, slow the game down.
And there are players who can slow the game down.
Oh, easy.
Odegaard can slow and pick a pass.
Yeah. They will not be able to convert all of the chances that they will create, but they would find that extra pass. They would find that extra pace because they will slow the game.
So that's what United, the Liverpool midfield today is lacking.
Didn't have. And I was asking myself this. If you look at the profile of midfielders that they spent a lot of, and this is Project Klopp. Right? Every signing that they have made post 2020, even since the exit of Michael Edwards, is Klopp.
True and true.
So you look at those midfielders and you ask yourself the question that in games like that, where is that inventiveness going to come from? Yes, you're going to get that freak goal from Trent against City and it will paper over the cracks. But really, against top quality opposition, you need your midfielders to show. Right? And when I look at Ryan Gravenberch, when I look at what does Szoboszlai offer beyond the shooting?
I think the form I'll drop it, but he's that player that can also pick a pass.
You know what I think? He's one of those players who look good when the team is
winning.
But he's not the guy to move the needle for you. On Cheddar Wassan. But in terms of
a
specialty,
that temperament, pop it up at the very high
and even beyond the temperament, the unique profile, set of skills, he can pick a pass from 30 yards, or he can play that 6-yard pass threaded through the eye of a needle. So when the game requires it, and for me, the biggest indictment for...
So you're talking about the profile of maybe Alcantara.
Thank you. So when the game requires... And for me, the biggest indictment for any midfielder in that circumstance was what happened to him when Klopp took him off. Onana, Gravenberch. The manager in that moment knew that these two guys are not going to be able to win the game for me. And for someone like Jurgen Klopp, he's seen more than enough of football to be able to appreciate a player's skill set and know in which moments they'll be able to bring in value. And yesterday's game was. So going forward, that is one thing that Klopp, I think, needs to be able to figure out. Whether or not he's going to, again, dip into the market. And again, a lot of people talk about the Liverpool ownership. But if I were John Henry or any of the other owners, I would sit back and ask myself, hang on a minute. Some 6 or 7 years ago, we paid a combined £98 million for Salah, Mane, Firmino. In the last 24 months, we have spent about £160 million on Dashing Man Darwin the debts, and the rest of the gang.
Yeah.
Nunes has now gone 10 consecutive Premier League games without
scoring
a goal. Probably more. Why should we trust this manager's word instead of perhaps a technical consultant? And I'm jumping the technical director or whoever he is they brought in because he's a guy who brought them Endo. He's a guy who recommended Szoboszlai. And the reality is that they can't. Yesterday, if there was anyone in Liverpool's squad who I think perhaps could have given them something different, and that's a big if or a big maybe, is McAllister. Even he does not guarantee you that final third quality, that inventiveness, right? He has a lot of skill. So whatever happens next, Klopp has got some thinking to do. And at the end of the day, I always say this, that is the difference between Klopp and Pep Guardiola, and not so much the money and the options because if you look at the difference in the quality of football, Charlie, it speaks for itself. It speaks for itself that Pep's teams can play the football Klopp's teams play. That high octane, high intensity football. But the extra layer of control and authority, and also the inventiveness and creativity that City can find, is something that Klopp and Liverpool do not have.
I'm sure you're enjoying the conversation. There's more coming up.
Masa, Madam, Mame Gobe 5 cedis.
No, me dofo. Ene koko sing.
Koko 3 cedis. Madam, Mr. 5 cedis.
Piano, a suit to Shadi.
Na fro
Apart from Nafuno, but we are sure. Yes, the objects in the mirror are closer than how they appear. And I just understand for Kano.
Oye de yewundi.
Eti chese yen ni kura ni yewuni yen.
Na fro kra ni yezi o.
Mo tintina match we went to man fanantum no.
Yeah.
Because the normal thing is that for any player who makes a mistake in a
hospital game,
it might not just be the next match.
But Senka, wetimi aye na fu ihu adwuma. Me minimum because adwuma we choose so be yen no. I see it here ahomache sorry any say go internet akọ research. Part of your and when you say director of radio, never can just Obai say you antro bibia Johnson, but you were able to say how suppose we are see. That is part of your job. And your responsibility and one found family issues and found a brow bread. And then found and near my busy schedules. You still have to do the research. Come and sit down and do the right thing. The same thing. And a footballer, as own say we are athletes. Yeah, I any opportunity because Ubian team convincing me say you better than Ata on a good day. Ubian will convince me so on a good day when you better than Ata because of say what put you on waiting, consistently I making mistakes. In and out, but still you see, you feel say, a so tranchain. But a cow you play and can so one so okotnasi. Now refresh your memory say
but in my
I don't photography I was say Charlie. I be photographer, but what the photographer do at no good crowd.
In Mazo Kuma cry. So earlier this year, Matic had this problem with Richard at time.
Yeah, I remember.
Matic
the same pictures
dropped. Yes, Matic dropped you because of your size and your weight.
Yes.
Like you don't go funta.
I remember Matic gave him a certain weight also. Oh yes. Let's
break it down. Go funta. As I Otto Richard Atta last year. What's there? Juma. Now boss Afro catcher there. A corner for the Wunyamano. Menu and Junta. What's the channel of being Juma? You feel threatened to obey you would make you say.
It just all count.
But still that has gotten worse.
Yeah. We had time now.
Not today.
No, out you go boy now almost no.
But
that was the first game.
Yes. Enti from there, Obosa catch do. Marian, Ejuma na yen yen out and channel be here. Oh, to every right thinking person, obi a badwum bia, be you know be see o. You will set up.
Unless when you serious we are seeing.
Oba count down. Adi mayen here, oba sack with. But he's comfortable because at Hearts of look. If Hearts was a properly functioning club, when you get into this weight, they will drop you. You
the
will
UK
they
close to
will
the
drop,
team.
they will drop. You won't get anywhere close.
Aso
to
ɔmo nkɔ ɔmo asɛm ne ɛyɛ yawa Mohammed Ali Mlamti kasama for ɛma ɛyɛ boxing Okruma. Yawa, good morning.
Good morning, Brenya.
Senior. Baso bibi abɔkɔ deɛ.
Where you amo?
Meet me you ma.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Now, a quick one. What's happening to our boxing and boxers? I can catalog close to 8 boxers are a few kwa. The beating, no beating, ketwa. I am pambro pa. What is happening? Is it lack of boxing talent, coaching, management? What's really our problem?
It's a combination of factors. It's a combination of factors. Before you came to the studio, you have a production meeting.
Yeah.
Look at the content. Have a look at the content. You already know your target audience. You have your own style. Style they present to the crap. You need to identify a critical tone of voice who the better level. We understand now you have liver to the billet. So it's the same thing as boxing. Boxing from the day it means that right from there, you must change a lot of things. Time order, trainer, train your coach, you. And the opponent will say, I want to mean China, a type of boxing, but boxer Ben or no. Some boxer or a southpaw and now orthodox. Some boxer also you must know his background. When you box a girl with Cuba ever you should know that boxer, when it comes to amateur ranks, watch out on what pencil power. Now we share the track record. Now I should open it or no more. When you do this, you go smoothly. And then even when you go and lose the fight, everybody will say, "Oh, this guy lost the fight gallantly." But a man say they were all kana. They were some of the boxers who lose the fight. It is a combination of factors. You can't blame it on Ghana Boxing Authority. You can't blame it probably on the trainer because there are some of the trainers who train boxers in our Ghana. If I couldn't be took my and yet Sako to one of the corner our
Yeah.
So when it comes to body language, when it comes to effective communication, you can't get it. Because we look at coach, and what the way you communicate in your local language. Or to me, can be there to me the Queen Shabbat show. But you want him for a coach who will just take you about a day or two, and that is the person who's going to be in your corner. Brenya, it is not possible in boxing. And I mentioned that is another problem that we need to sit down and look at it critically. In boxers, they need to reshape their mental fortitude about boxing. They think that boxing is all about you going to get money. No, your credibility, your integrity is very important. When you look at the likes of Azuma Nelson, I didn't think as well as to me as an individual, but you might be spending the title for 10 solid years. It's all about integrity. But there are boxers who think about money. You get the money, by your integrity, you take a nosedive. Bampoe-Brenya is a combination of factors. It could be the trainer, it could be the boxer, it could be the planning, it could be lack of seriousness, it could be lack of commitment. Bampoe-Brenya, that is a problem.
I don't think with a Friday, I brought naming come on for boxing on here the way forward. We will dive into all the angles and deal with it properly.
Exactly.
But on Friday, into your hearing Friday. All right. I feel to Kwaba. Senag Bukudie, Achu, any special weekend.
Yeah.
Round 2 per.
All that I can.
Aquarin New Year. Richard Harrison Latte, or no African heavyweight chance, no, or Guinea, Ecobono. Musa Lawson, and WBC International Silver Super Featherweight title in the UK, Yabono. Prince Okonate, and WBC Super Middleweight chance in Ireland, on Ecobono. Prince Octopus Johnny, on WBC International Super Bantamweight chance in the US, and ye. As a Dogbe on the WBC featherweight elimination, and so in the UK, and ye Patrick O'Kane, and so Olusu a year junior welterweight bout in the US, a year Eric Kwam, and so Olusu sa, and I've seen Richard Comey, and so Olusu in the United States. And these are close to 10 boxers from Ghana this year. A be a water shots, a be a African Championship, Ninano, and Kuyi.
The prayer, the say, I would say, just do a quick search. I know it will be a bit difficult for some of you, but do a quick search of all of these boxes at Yabubo and find out how many bouts they had under their belt. Yes. It will give you an idea.
Yeah. Okay, so you the former world champions in film, Dogbe and
No, for all of them.
All of them.
All of them. Even Dogbe. Even Isaac Dogbe.
Yeah.
All of them. Look, if you look through the current generation, the exception perhaps would be Richard Comey, who would be immune to ABR, the Mazana man noticing. But we are churning out a lot of half-big boxes.
And what is even more true is the fact that now we have boys who want to just go into a fight because of the money.
No.
Jenny men.
Yes.
You boom cry, I mean, 10,000 pounds.
I'm not even going to talk about the issue of style, development, the training, the technical aspects. It's a whole bigger conversation. We'll get into the quality of trainers you produce. Because boxing, just like football, is also evolving, right? Some of the techniques are in the 90s that served Ghanaian boxers well may not be the same techniques that will serve boxers well today. Some of them have been fine-tuned. We may be a film, may be a background. For example, the way to fight a southpaw in the 90s is not the way you fight a southpaw today. Yeah. Because the make of today's boxer is completely different from the make of the boxer in the 90s. And actually, across all of the divisions, check out all of the title holders, WBC, WBO, WB, even IBF, all of the divisions. You realize that there is a stark contrast between today's elite boxers and those in the 90s and the early 2000s. So the sport is changing, right? How much of that change is reflecting in the way
we train our boxers today?
So that is a conversation that has to be had. I mean, the issues of what our players, what our boxers do, their lifestyle and what they eat. We know that the cultural setting that they emerge from. Yeah. I think the last time I showed you the WhatsApp status of one of the boys. Saturday morning, he's a boxer. He's a former Olympian.
And he's eating?
It wasn't what he was eating, no. It was what he was ingesting. Let me make it that broad. It was what he was ingesting. In Myanmar, that could pass for banned substances. So, I mean, now on there, we had taken...
Because the Ochuko,
yes. Was it the Birmingham? Because someone had taken in substance that they were not aware. Yeah. But when you go to the communities that produce these boxes, everyday thing. But nobody is looking at that thing to do anything about it. We are all pretending as if what pertains in Bukom, in Jamestown, in Osu, in Labadi, in all of Ekotakradia, main Spain, we are all pretending what happens in those communities is marriable with professional boxing. It is not. We need to be able to decouple. So even before you get to the cracks of the technical aspects to talk about the finance and marketing,
lifestyle,
the first point is look at the make of the boxer. Baby Abranton if we ba Nusuban a corner of Nyama Uzi, Nyama Onum. Because that thing is part of who he is. If you take the average Jamestown Bukom, maybe whole boxer, you cannot decouple them from the culture that pertains there. But those things are also potential threats to the boxer's development. Look first at where these boxers are coming from, but also at the heart, because it is the easiest part, right? How we have not been able to, and every day we are quick to talk about Cuba, about Mexico, about Indonesia. We are quick to talk about all of these places and the nice things that we see there, and how if you don't fight, have this number of boxers or bouts under your belt, you are not going to go international. They are not going to arrange these fights for you. They are not going to sanction these. Also, we need to get to the point where if we put out a Ghanaian boxer there, we can vouch for
at
least a few things. We can vouch for his endurance, we can vouch
competitiveness, talent.
Thank you.
And know
their
that at
motivation.
least obeti me win
And their motivation.
As if that say, you can message kakra about life on our Facebook page. I'm in for calls on 0551563916. The Tom was mistake has been consistent, but I blame the goalkeeper trainer as well. As the folks should be serious, small. Jerry, I must say serious kakra. Lion Nehemiah Atinga, which Richmond idea was Sadudu. Mekanajano, good morning. Watching live from Atomic Electoral Area. Gradually, Hearts is going to relegation. We thank God. Good. All right, my family first call. We didn't have referee. Bejo sumini abema. I think comment of this saying why I come to the Inama. Mpacho 24th that way.
24th ya Sunday. It's Sunday.
This Sunday we don't friend. Be do chana. Fear any nko na me no nko be credit you dey share. Emiadom.
Weekend is Arsenal so ekoye.
Pa.
Na Brighton for the person almost my tough time but as a Wenger ni give issues. We so shego be to win match.
Yeah.
Brenya. Ami lante nsem na obe kan wo ho. Ebi o wa me ne nya adwen.
You said yeah.
So like get 25. Share Pato Ghana Football Association leading by President Ket. Say anyo no coaching national teams no.
There be.
But national teams in Korea. Say Korea ya bona baso se o. Se me fa ni say ya ko AFCON ya kwa dia.
Yeah.
Pato momome ni ani ji obeje no. Say nezi but so 1 5 1 6 1 7 1
But boxing a bit different. When say boxing an individual sport. When say GBA for no they also mo here there. But do na ejina boxing any team no so.
Ami lante. Tama Game Boy me see Game Boy way boy or Igbeni boy no
Dogbe
ko yie no e say omo ji fa
Ombeji pa
I hent apedi ko yie dey o si mi emle mumu eh mumu dey mu manage ni yie boss mami me akra ha so oba kai say last week me be kai yi asem
yeah
ayi bi says na o ye no o bi ni players na bem players be break down na ya pamu coaches wo team no we are results we say coach na what is coach how coach no I consistent and now be stadium na the poor man ha supporters yam hwehwe no say we dey the poor mu dey be concede but nia aye wo poor mu enwa the enemy say yeah poor man dey so say microphone too much you be twitwa say na mistake say ndi ni say yo ni sem microphone materials is say mistakes no ye consistent oma has and lose 3 points too much. Oba ka say customer costa package one no. No use aye obi about 2 matches. No be use attack be 2 matches. No say omo. Me patcho ma men quality ade we so. One ye PRA interview no. A great politics and ebo home. Enya has na ebo home. A great politics that is has of. Eti me say ye PRA o check is ane mani pa me da say.
To me that's I mean show. But our family say 0551563916 na ye ninko me so didn't you have referee. With him? Yenti we.
Ayo.
All right, I mean, we line no nyekle papa mama. It's also with my face see na yenko. Pride be say me kan say massa and they Christmas we be de brutal. Pride bet what na ye give you away lot of exciting gifts. So ye obetumi DB nti misra wa ye ma Bluetooth, ye ma mobile phones, ye ma AirPods, ye ma TV sets. Nti ko na dey fene say the international lotto cross and buy platform so US Lotto, UK Lotto na Ghana Lotto nyina ba. pridebet.com.gh na register nanya 100% welcome bonus say yeah to be active for Pridebet so Now so nya ne bebre na our platform no so didn't be afraid.
Ohene Brenya Bampoe.
Wo de yenko
Ohene Brenya yebeda wase ene adwuma pa odesum o my Ghana. Ohene Brenya akira nko o wo mpa bo bia la so mi ka je se mi hu fo mi bi no wa se credit card wo mpa bo bia bo bi ma mi papa na mi bi ba e ba ma sport group ni nyina mi chama
yo mo bom pa na udina ka say den dina post no so ye den Michael Ajano.
Yes.
Into be akwa domi wo hu Michael Ajano assemblyman. Okay, domi electoral area. Kale minya assemblyman bi amfam show ndanti muntuma no a owini a e be first assemblyman na official yizo.
Me that number 1.
Number 1.
Number 1. And you know, can say, Mammy Chadi every president. Some catch say, half, you know, a cake and quack. You catch your say, I you, and you inquire about ball. Somebody buy a mark of pass, no more ground. Money that's your eyes. I am one who
Esewara. I mean that say incoming assemblyman where domi electoral area. Kwame not black or say listen to the show live inside Tamakom 2 BBC. The transfer window is open and the Carlos Hookman should quickly approach become Chelsea's goalkeeper or the Samate's goalkeeper. We are tired of goalkeeping each and every weekend. Long live across folk on the way or a goalkeeper be no more training of free wafa. Or no more training by a couple of months in the number is no. And a extra casudi a CC or a Voen or Swaba also come restaurant of beginning of the season documentation code 3 and way a code 3 number is okay. Kwame Kojo Usu or say Ogum stop speaking to the media after his political comments on players. Oh, okay. Don't also need to Susano Moyeno dreams. And I remember how comedy Jumedian is in your kind of shy. I feel you see last days are dangerous into Yana Nama not who ye. What eh? No ma bonsamu yao. I mean kind of shy. China, you have to Jumedians. But then you made for 5 to 6, you don't want to put this force. Everyone, Macram, bye bye.
Yeah.